This is the ethos of Series 6, so I wanted to bring together a panel of businesses who have made huge strides in the last few years to making it happen.
My advice to anybody is, if you're thinking about it, just do it. Life's short. Everybody I've spoke to in business, they say the same thing. Oh, I should have done it years ago. Get the phone out, tell your story, explain what the problem is. 80% good content, 20% sell.
Put yourself in them really, really uncomfortable positions that you don't know what you're maybe doing, but there's time to find out and make that product and get it over the line.
It's not the how, it's the who. So if you get the right people around you, your business will take off.
Keep at what you're doing, make it happen, write the list, make the connections, take action, and just go do it.
So I would like to invite Angeline Murphy Design to the stage, please. Angeline has turned her side hustle into something that could and will be her main job someday. She wanted to do that, and she did it in style by collaborating with none other than Joe Malone. Yes. How did she make that happen? We're going to hear now, aren't we, Angeline? I'd also like to welcome to the stage Mark O'Neill, the roof and window specialist. Mark, if you want to make your way up. So Mark wanted to turn his long years of slogging and worrying about money into a positive working life for him and his family. He wanted work. He wanted work that didn't negatively impact his mental health. In the last 4 years, his business has went from 0 to 7 figures. And he described himself in the early days as one man, one van, 1,000 leaflets and plenty of hope. And how did he change to 7 figures? We're going to find out how he made that happen. Next up, I'd like to welcome Karen Daly. Karen, if you want to come to the stage. Karen is the Growth Accelerator Manager at Unislim and CEO of 1111 Bang On Trend. Karen wanted to free herself up with more time to spend with her family and working on her businesses and not in them. Isn't that right? That's not an easy thing to do, as we all know, but she made it happen, and we all want to know how. Okay, so this isn't about me. That's why I'm standing over here. It's about you guys. So I just want to take this time just to, like, we're all in the thick of it. Yes, we've heard from the guys who, yes, are still working really hard, but feel like their success is, they're there. I feel like when I listen to them, what about us? We're like in the grind every day. We're like, oh my God, are we ever going to make it? These guys are like us, and we want to hear what they're going through, just like us. So, Mark, you've got the microphone. So, do you want to start? Thank you for being here. Do you want to just tell us briefly, like, a little bit about your story?
Yeah, my name is Mark O'Neill. I started a business called Roof and Window Specialists. I worked, I suppose, where it started as a 10-year-old. I wanted to go to work with my father, who was a small contractor, just building houses locally. So that wish came true, and I got working with him. And I was on a roof one time. I was wearing a yellow wetsuit, the wee yellow wetsuit as I call it, and I got absolutely soaked. And I came home that day from work, and I said to Mum and Dad, I'm going to university, stuff this crack. And fast forward, went to university, worked for contractors, travelled the world, came back and got a job with Velux Roof Windows. I thought it was just, I'll go for this and it'll keep me going a year or two. I was there 12, 13 years, and within a short period of time, I could see a gap in the market because their product has been in the go the 70 years, but it didn't last forever, and there was nobody specialising in replacing them. So in the middle of the recession, I said to a boss, should we not, get people to replace their windows? And he said, listen, don't be silly. They'll buy a plasma TV. And the company's ethos was one experiment's better than 1,000 expert opinions. So being the strong-minded person I am, I was great. So when I got leaflets printed, started dropping leaflets, and lo and behold, I could see a business forming. So eventually I got the bravery to leave, and my advice to anybody is, if you're thinking about it, just do it. Life's short. Everybody I've spoke to in business, they say the same thing. Oh, I should have done it years ago. And much the same here. So I basically started, I'd done an Invest NA program, and I remember the guy saying to me, he says, right, Mark, when are you going to start this business? I said, I'm not leaving in the middle of a recession. I'm sure at that stage, I had a lot of other direct debits to pay. Let's just say I had some property, and in the middle of a recession, it wasn't going the right direction, as anybody would know. So the time came, it was 2017, and I just decided, that's it, I'm leaving. I rang my dad and said, Dad, listen, not Val, what are you doing? He was retiring. He says, oh, your sister's got it in Gumtree. He goes, get it off. I'm going to start this business. So I literally drove 1 week. I was in a suit and tie, and I flew to places like Geneva, all over Europe, just with work, and it was a good life, but it wasn't what I wanted. I just, this was in me all the time. So left that. I literally drove to Glengormley with, as I said, the journey, 1,000 leaflets. I just started dropping leaflets and knocking doors. And I know Neve's down there. I remember going to a digital marketing event in Mid-Ulster, and Neve's words are ringing in my ear. Get the phone out, tell your story, explain what the problem is. 80% good content, 20% selling, and be consistent. I always remember that. So I was under a hell of a lot of pressure, I'll be honest. I said you I haven't spoken much about it, but I had a lot of direct debits, putting it mildly, and I had to make a lot of commitments. So I was getting work. It was slow. When you're knocking doors, I can tell you it is real hard sales, but every door that I knocked, I knew at some point I'll either get it or they'll come back to me, because when you put a face behind the company, I'd say they're going to buy or not. Once I went to that marketing event, I left it and I was like, I need to change things, because I needed more work. I was doing the work, getting the work. It was every time I was fitting a window, I needed to be out getting the work, and every time I was getting the work, I needed to be fitting. So chicken and eggs now. But anyway, I just got the phone out, and the first video I put up got 1,000 views, and I was like, holy smoke, I couldn't drop 1,000 leaflets. It would take ages. So I'd done that, and from there on it just spiraled. And then come COVID, that was the next challenge, and I was like, great, we've got this. For at this stage, it's about 5 working for me. It was going in the right direction, and I was just like, what is going to happen next? Straight away, what's the next idea I could think of? So loads of ideas, and the next thing, the phone started ringing. We're in the house, we need the work done. If you're upstairs, we're downstairs. Get the work done. And actually our business just rocketed from then on. And at this stage, we're putting content up all the time. And again, back to Neve, just be consistent. Listen, I'll be the first to admit our content has loads of improvements we made, but of a few stories. But I remember going to a really remote place in County Antrim, and this 75-year-old woman says, I says, listen, do you know anything about us? Or, she goes, I've watched all your videos and you're the boy for us. And I was like, great, we'll keep marketing. And now we're getting work. Like on the way here today, a guy rang me and he goes, this guy is out doing work on my house, and he's recommended you. And I was like, I don't know who it is. So we're now getting recommendations all the time. We're growing at quite a rate, and the biggest thing is we've got a great team. And Eddie, you'll know what the first thing I'd say is, don't be afraid to employ someone, because once you make that first step, you employ the right people. It's not the how, it's the who. So if you get the right people around you, your business will take off. And I suppose one thing we try to do in our business is create a good culture, and the most important thing of all is our customers. Just delight the customer. Everybody we deal with, we tell them the same. We will go to the ends of the earth to make sure when we leave the job that you're happy. And I can tell you, there's because I've walked every street in Belfast and around, every time we get lead in, I can nearly tell the person what's in the house, because we've been there at some point. But that's part of my story.
So it's Mark and I talked at length on the phone about everything, and like ups and downs, like everybody in life, and we talked about you coming here, and he's like, oh, I don't know if I want to get up. And I was like, no, people need to know that it's okay to say that it was flipping hard going, and that they know it was a struggle. But like, even just to think that it was just from putting videos up online that you got that boost of confidence, if that's all that it took for you to believe it and make it happen, then fair play to you and Neve for telling you to do it. And just shows people what they can do if they're sitting there and they're going, how am I going to, maybe just flip that phone.
Karen, see that, not you will get that point. And one guy said to me, goes, oh, I cringe when your videos come up. And I was, well, if it pays your mortgage, because when you're my shoes and you need to pay a mortgage, you'll do what it takes. And fear and see other people's opinions. If it's coming from someone, that knows what they're talking about, I respect it. Anybody else's opinions, they don't pay the mortgage.
No, they don't. And, sure, we all cringe at our own, never mind people cringing at you. But if it pays the bills, keep her lit, right? So thank you so much, Mark. And Karen, do you want to take the...
Hello, everybody, and thank you, Caroline. I am Ireland's #1 health and wellness mentor. I've worked in weight management for about 14 years, and went self-employed just as we were about to have our second baby, 6 months pregnant, working with my husband ever since. So you can imagine the joy and the drama that brings. But I suppose our story has been one, like every other probably entrepreneur here in the room. We had a food business alongside the weight management business and the health and fitness side. And then we kind of sort of had to refocus, and food businesses, healthy food businesses, cost an awful lot of money to run. So we were very fortunate, though. We did Dragon's Den and had massive success, obviously, on the back of that, and sold that business in 2015. And purely since then have focused on the health and wellness side of things. We empower people, excite them, motivate them into literally changing their lives forever for the better. And it's the most joyful thing ever to do. And I suppose for me then, for the last probably 6-7 years, we were growing and growing and growing, and we had physical premises both in Dundalk and in Newry, and we were building an online business at the same time. And then pre-COVID, we got the opportunity to do an RTE business show called Strictly Business, and they have followed us for 6 months and was just massively changed our online business. And at that point, we were going to franchise all over Ireland, we were going to open groups, and their whole message to us really throughout that show was, look at drive it all online, look what you're doing, look at the engagement you're driving, and it's not your key focus. So pre-COVID, thankfully, we were already set up to do that. We had invested in an app, we were growing online, and then obviously March 2020, all our physical classes closed, and we then had huge opportunity. We were ahead of the game in terms of probably a lot of our bigger competitors. And then roll on though another 2 years to early last year, probably January, February time, COVID was coming to an end. And we had thousands of members across this country and beyond, but who were looking to go back out and connect and looking to go back out into the community. And we did reconsider then kind of reopening classes. But we sat back too, and we were kind of like, right, you know what? We've been in business for 10, 12 years. You've been self-employed. You're being the boss forever. And whilst it has been the most amazing, and I have the most incredible skills, and I'm not afraid to say it, and I do more work in a day, as we all know, being self-employed than you will ever probably do as an employee. But we kind of said, right, where do we go next? Do we take this next step, or what are our options? And we kind of looked then, and the term was used earlier, I was all on for collaboration, not competition, and I've never viewed any other business as competition. So I kind of got a list together, who potentially could we collaborate with to give this opportunity to our members online to actually weigh in across the country. We knocked doors, talked to people, sent the messages, made phone calls, and Fiona Gratzer, who's the CEO of Unislim, I had a conversation with originally, and we chatted, and sometimes I think in business this happens a lot. We chatted for about 6 months. We would meet every few weeks. We kind of had the same values. We had an agreement and a desire to do something together, but neither of us knew what that was. She had never done this before, taken on a business at this level, and she didn't know where she would put me into that business either. And I think sometimes, I worked for 10 years in recruitment, as employers as well, sometimes if you've seen my CV coming on your door, you might think, oh, what do I do with this person? And the skills over the 10 years. But I would say anybody, if you're ever thinking of go back to work, or, never be afraid and knock those doors. And if you're an employer, employ those people because they have the best skills ever. So long story short, a guy said to me a long time ago in business, Karen, you have to put it on the table. You have to. If there's no deal, there's no deal. So you have to say, this is what I want. This is what will make it happen. Or otherwise we would have been another 6 months down the line and not done anything. So last August time, we decided, right, time to just make it happen. And we sold our business to Unislim, and I joined Unislim then as their fancy title, Growth and Acceleration Manager. But what it meant though was, where our business had got to, I was tied up in admin and tax and finance and accounts. I did a degree in information management economics. My master's that I love is in weight management, and that's my passion. And I want to inspire and educate and empower people. But here I was stuck half the time behind a computer and doing everything else outside of that. So this has freed me up now to have the time to actually give 110% to what I love, and to still be able to empower people through social media, through the other businesses that I run. And it's just been, not being the boss has actually been probably nice. So it can be lonely at times as well, being the boss. And now I have a team of maybe 10 or 12 people who are doing what we were doing ourselves. So it's been quite different, but it's been given me, I have two boys, they're 14 and 11. I want to go to every football game they have. I want to be there to pick them up from school. So I want to do, and yes, you think sometimes being your own boss gives you the freedom to do all of that. But if you're half on your phone and half not there and half not connected. And the other thing I see, I lost my dad, he was only 54. I was only 24 at the time. And he worked all his life, never smoked, never drank, ran a joinery and roofing contracting business. And his goal and his dream in life was to retire and spend time with his 6 children. You know, so for me, it's all about the balance. It's about actually having mini retirements every year, goals that you want to achieve, things that you want to do, and finding balance and having health goals as well and factoring health into all of that. So it's been fun, it's been exciting, and but keep at what you're doing, make it happen, write the list, make the connections, take action, and just go do it.
How refreshing is it to hear, though, someone like that has a successful business but decides to sell it because they want to free up and be more present in their family. Like, I think we need to talk about that too, because like at the end of the day, it's about our families. That's why we're doing this. And if it's starting to affect that, you know, that's such a courageous thing that you did. And to be able to come on here and say it as well, that's why I wanted to hear, because it's not just about flipping busting your ass to do all these things. If it means you don't see your kids and your family suffers, then no, like you've done the right thing. So, and you're here and you're still like as vibrant and as energetic as you've always been, Karen. So thank you so much for sharing that. And then now can we have Angeline, who works so closely with Joe Malone and David Beckham. We just had to have her here. Angeline, tell us what the hell happened.
I still don't know. I'm still trying to calculate it all and make sense of it. But I'll set the scene first. So I was off on maternity leave last year. So side hustle. And I was in the kitchen, the ball on the hip and the toddler around the ankles, and a message came through on my chat on my website saying, just wondering, would you be interested in a collaboration for the World Cup in Qatar, which has taken place in November last year. So this was September. And I'm sure if any of you's got that message, you would go, oh, it's fake, you know. So I sort of walked away for about 2 minutes and then come back and was like, I'll respond. Go, yeah, I'm interested. Okay, send me your email address and we'll send you the brief. So opened the brief, and next thing, Joe Malone's name came on board as well. We would like you to create a textile art piece to bring to life Joe Malone's fragrances. So she had 3 fragrances. She was promoting in Qatar, and it was white rose and lemon leaves, gold gardenia, and then the blue veils and wild daffodils. And I hadn't created flowers before. I fashion design, I created garments, glamorous dresses, all of that. But of course I couldn't say no. I goes, yes, I'll say yes, and sure I'll find out how to do that later. So I said, okay, great, let's jump on a Zoom in the afternoon and we'll talk about it. And we got on very well. And I says, yes, this job can be done. And put my back against the wall and said, yeah, when's it done for? And they said, November. And I was like, yep, no problem. We have 3 kids under 5, and husband like just turn his hair out going, what are you doing now? And I then went back and first thing got on the phone to mummy and said, mummy, I'll lead you down here every day for the next 4 weeks to get this job over the line. So then it really started. I was thinking in the excitement, oh, this collaboration with Joe Malone, but this job needs done. I need to actually fulfill this now. So something hit the fan. I'll not say the word, but I had we're in good company here. We'll be saying the word all day. Shit. And then a couple of sleepless nights to say, well, how am I gonna get this over the line? So I was like, well, I want to pay homage to Northern Ireland, so of course the fabric will have to be linen. And I was like, has linen flowers been made before? And I started researching, and fabric flowers are very popular in Japan and as Japanese art. And I was like, the tools I had to bring in was sort of all European plugs, and I must have burnt out about 5 or 6 of them because they just kept blowing on me. But I was sort of researching where I could go to get Irish linen, and I was placed in Banbridge, John Ferguson's linen, and I sort of went up and knocked on the door. This was September, October time, and it wasn't open to the public. And I was like, oh God. The child was sleeping in the car. I'm always in the front, and I was like, time's limited here. So knock the door, the receptionist says, no, sorry, it's by appointment only, you can't see anyone. And I was sort of trying to start name dropping, like, I have a project here for the House of Commons, and it's alongside Joe Malone, it's for the Garden of Great and guitar, and David Beckham's opening it. And the more I was saying it, the more it's like, this doll is off her rocker. Like, this couldn't be true. It's just all wrong. And he said, no, you'll have to come back. And I was like, under a tight deadline, I need to source this fabric quick. So next thing, the owner's son, who I find out later, walked through the door, and he's like, oh, is there something on here? And I started blurting out again what I needed. And he goes, oh, come on into the office and we'll look at what we can do for you. So he goes, I normally don't get to speak to people like you. It's normally my mummy who speaks with all the fashion designers. And I was like, oh, I'll not let the guard down here. I'm not really like one of them. So then he took me around the factory floor and he was showing me all the linen. And I said, listen, what's that stuff there that's in the bin? That'll do the job, because I wanted to sort of be sustainable as well, because that's part of my brand is sustainability, especially in the fashion industry. So he said, yeah, take whatever you need, take it with you. So then it was the whole research process of, well, how do I cut? How do I starch? How do I shape? How do I create these into something that actually looks like real life flowers? And boy, did I doubt it. My first flower, I couldn't even take a picture of it to send it to anyone because it was just horrendous. But maybe it's a good before and after that there is a process. So over the coming weeks, then we just, then managed to get the job done. It had to be flew out. The brief was it had to all go in a box, in a suitcase, so it had to be all packed. And I remember a couple of days before, I was like, when you're in the middle of a project just wanting to get the job done and your back's against the wall because it's your reputation. If I couldn't put this across the line, then what's the future? You sort of stake us are high on it. But I knew it was important to get the photograph, get the video, get all of that afterwards. So I called my friend Kasha and I was like, any chance you could slot me in and take some photographs of these flowers? So we got the kids to bed. She had the kids in bed, rocked down to her house in Dungannon, 45 minutes down the road. And we were there till like 1:30 in the morning taking photographs of the flowers. But I have a marketing background, so I know the importance of making sure that you can showcase your product afterwards and just get it there. So the flowers went delivered out to Qatar, and I was tagging Joe Malone flat out on Instagram, and nothing was coming back. And then I went on to Twitter and I tagged her on Twitter, and she was back within 2 minutes and followed me.
That's how you actually rang?
Yeah, well, we chatted, we talked, we've opened them lines of communication, and she then said, thanks very much for collaborating with you. It was a pinch me moment, and it's really great to see what creativity can come when we share a vision. So it's really, I suppose it's a bit of a, where did that come? Completely left wing from me, but I suppose if there's something to take out of it is that, put yourself in them really, really uncomfortable positions that you don't know what you're maybe doing, but there's time to find out and make that product and get it over the line. And I got great feedback on the flowers, beyond what I ever would have imagined, people messaging me even from Qatar and follows from people out there, and the flowers are now in the British Embassy just forever. That's our forever home. And so there's a piece of Northern Ireland and a piece of me over there, even though I couldn't go over myself. So it's a bit of a whirlwind, and still I'm sort of trying to come to what just happened there. But as I say, the job needed done, and I did it. I just got it done. How class is that for everybody?
So you could have said, well, I don't think I can do that, and I'm too big. I know I wouldn't have the, nobody mind the children, and I can't do it, and I wouldn't be capable. But you took it on, you faced the challenge, and you made it happen. So I just wanted to bring those 3 business owners up. So different, aren't they? Like so many different challenges, but each one of them amazing. So Angeline, do you want to call out your handle on social media so people can follow you and see those flowers?
Yeah, Angeline Murphy Design. We get that on Instagram, and then just all the rest of the social channels.
And then do you want to pass it to Mark in case we need those windows and roofs sorted out?
Yeah, for your vitamin D, go to at roofwindowspecialist.com on Facebook and Instagram, and we're also on LinkedIn.
Yeah, so even just to watch how other businesses do things, even if you don't need his services, just to watch how he does those videos. And then Karen, do you want to say where people can find you?
Yeah, if you want to join me online for health and wellness courses, or you want to come to a class of mine, or you can swim across the country, we are at Master of Weight Loss, And I also do a lot of corporate speaking as well. So reach out.
The Dig podcast would not be possible if it wasn't for the support of the fantastic partners who team up with us each series. Series 6 is in partnership with Invest NI, my new business.
Emil knew they could turn their passion into a business. They just needed help to get started. They downloaded a free business plan template from My New Business and followed the step-by-step guidance. They also found advice on researching and developing their ideas. Need help planning your new business? Visit nibusinessinfo.co.uk/mynewbusiness.
Now let's get back to making it happen. Now we're going to meet the businesses that can help your business. So what that means is, I know I have a podcast, but really the reason why I started a podcast was to help businesses. So if I can come down to the back of the room and introduce a business to you and they get business from it, like that's what it's all about. That's why we're here, to bring the business full circle and to network. So the guys at the back all, sponsored the podcast by being here, and my way of giving back is let's shine a light on them. These people are awesome on what they do, and you guys can get great help from them. So I'm going to make my way down. If the people could take their spots at their tables, if you guys can get your phones out and get following these guys, they can really help you in your business. Okay, so I'm going to start with Hyperfast ANI. And the guys are here, and they have deadly water bottles. They brought the merch, so that's what your Dig podcast bags for, to come and get all your goodies. Isn't that right, Gillian? Do you want to introduce yourself to everybody and just tell them why they need and what you do and why they need to hear?
Right. Oh yeah, sorry about it. I know. Thank you very much. Fibres is very much focused on rolling out a brand new hyperfast full fibre broadband network across rural Northern Ireland. Very much focused on rural communities, helping them level up the playing field so that local businesses don't just survive, they thrive, and local residents have the same opportunities as their city counterparts going forward. We're providing speeds anything from 100 megabit per second up to a gigabit per second, which is 1,000 meg there, as well as our own commercial builds, where we're focused on the sort of larger villages, smaller towns across Northern Ireland that have historically not received decent broadband in the past. We also are responsible for rolling out the Hyperfast NI network. This is funded by not just Fibres, but BDUK, Department for Economy, DERA, as well as Department of Digital, Community and Sport. We're rolling out over the next, we're 2 years in, we're rolling out over the next 2 years to 76,233 of the most remote rural premises across Northern Ireland, really levelling up the playing field. And it's great to see, even now at this stage, just 2 years in, and after covering 50,000 premises, the benefits that we're bringing to those businesses. Dig for Success is one of those, I'm glad to say. And, there's local businesses that they've been able to open online shops. They're able to update their social media without having to get into the car, find a 4G connection, etc. They're not wasting time from the family point of view. Their children are able to do their research online there without going to their grannies or their cousins, etc. So it really is bringing change, and not just driving economies as the network goes live, but even as we're building this, we have local suppliers contributing to the economy there, even guest houses that are putting up the Fibres engineers and subcontractors as we roll this out. So it really is this funding from the government bodies and so on is really helping Northern Ireland economy as well. There. So, any businesses or from a household perspective within the room, if you are interested in getting connection and you're rurally based, if you'd like to come up to our stand, you can scan the link there to our website, check your availability on our website, and even if you're part of that, we will inform you and be in contact when you're ready to connect. If you're not, still please register your interest via the website, because you may not be part of this project, but we will look to see what other options there are to be able to connect you. So, yep, that's fabulous.
So the story is that how Julian and I got in touch was I used to have to drive to Kill Island. Now, nobody wants to be sitting in Kill Island for 3 hours uploading their Instagram videos because, well, you look dodgy as hell sitting there, and you know it's not where you want to be as a family or anything. So it really halted my progress in my work and my business because I could not get connection. And then I thank God Project Stratum was rolled out in the Cluno area, and I was able to get online, and now I don't have to leave the house. Jared's very happy about his life that I'm there for all the eventualities of the house, but that's what made me more aware of, you know, how, well, everybody knows this is how we live our lives now. We need to be quick and the internet for our work. So I highly recommend, if you do struggle rurally as a business or at home, to come over and speak to Julian and do the little scan me and see if he can help you. And thank you so much for coming to the Dig podcast, and Julian, and the water bottles. Like, everybody loves a good water bottle.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you.
Okay, and next up we have part of the Dig Podcast Live, McKee's Law Firm, and we have Jill, who's going to speak to you now.
Hello, my name is Jill Anad, and I'm a disputes partner at McKee's. McKee's is a local independent law firm that supports businesses. It has financial services, disputes, property, and corporate legal services capability. And one of our key strengths is that we have partnerships, alliances with firms in other jurisdictions. So if you come to us looking for support in England or the Republic of Ireland, we can help you even though we operate out of Northern Ireland. Our clients are at the heart of our business, and we live and breathe our values to ensure that we provide the best legal advice and business solutions to our clients. So in terms of our values, we are inquisitive, we're collaborative, and we're progressive. So we're inquisitive. We ask questions of our clients. We want to understand their businesses so that we can give the best possible advice and come up with a pragmatic business solution. We are progressive, so we are always wanting to learn and develop and come up with new ways of working. And we're collaborative, so we collaborate with our clients so that we become their trusted business partner. And we collaborate with our clients' other professional advisors so that we can come up with a holistic business solution. So what differentiates us from other law firms? From national firms, we're an independent firm, we're more personal, and you have direct access to partners. And from smaller firms, we're all specialists, all our lawyers are specialists. So if you come to us with a dispute, you will deal with a disputes lawyer. If you come to us to refinance your business, you will deal with a banking expert. If you come to us with a property transaction, you'll deal with a property lawyer. So we're not jacks of all trades, masters of none. We're experts in our fields, specialists in our fields. And my advice from a legal perspective to businesses, to business startups, to entrepreneurs would be, firstly, to speak to a business lawyer, speak to a business accountant at the outset. It's a false economy not to do. So you might think you'll save a few pounds by not doing that, but I'm a disputes lawyer. I spend my days in court and I see firsthand how expensive, stressful and distracting it is for businesses to find themselves in court. My second piece of advice would be to take advice. And always, we're here today learning from people who have been very successful. So take that on board, ask questions, listen to those pieces of advice and take them on board. And thirdly, I would say that it is important to embrace social media. And I know professional services firms maybe aren't great about it. We're trying to do so much better. And I can really see from being here the benefit in doing that, and would encourage you to do likewise. So thank you. I would say do come and talk to us. We would be delighted to hear from you. We have cupcakes and we have gin, which might encourage
Short cross gin at the back.
do come this way if you would like either cupcakes or gin or pens or trolley coins or notebooks.
And can I just say about McKee's Law, they just set up their Instagram last week, and I suppose you'll be listening to Catherine about how the service-based businesses, but even to follow them, and when they start to educate us all about law and what we need to be looking out for as business owners, then when you do need someone, McKee's will be at the forefront of your mind. So that's what it's all about, just planting the seed today, and then when you get in that handling, as I always seem to get in handlings, you will remember that McKee's can support you across all those aspects. So yeah, come see the gin and the cupcakes and speak to Jill about perhaps any issues that you have. And thank you so much to McKee's Law for supporting the Dig podcast. Thank you. And is someone coming up from Women in Business? Donna, come on. And now I am with BD Consultancy, who is Bridget. Now, I'm going to let Bridget talk, and then I'll tell you my experience with Bridget. These are all going to be queuing up. Bridget, do you want to tell everyone on the Dig podcast what you do?
Hello everyone, my name's Bridget Dugan, the founder of BD Consultancy. We were established 16 years ago. I'm based outside Portlaoise, so not very far from the Gilgorm here today. But we travel throughout Northern Ireland, and we now have clients in Southern Ireland. So what does BD Consultancy do? We support SMEs throughout Northern Ireland and further afield. We have 5 core services, which is business planning and strategic development. So what that entails is, and one of the speakers mentioned it this morning, about putting a plan in place for your business. When I go into companies, I use 5 key words. I talk about the plan. I talk about the systems and processes. I talk about what's realistic and what's achievable for your business with the resources that you have. So when we talk about a plan, I don't mean a thick document that you're going to put away in a filing cabinet and not bring out. I talk about a working document that you know your finance figures, and that is really important. And again, one of our speakers mentioned that this morning. You need to know your figures every month, and that's what we work on with our clients when we're preparing business plans. We look at the market research. Is there a need for your product or service? We also look in depth at your staff, keeping staff, the finance section. You know, what is your product and service? Who's your customer? Who's your ideal customer? So that's what I cover in business planning and strategic development. Grant applications and funding is also another key role within the business. BD Consultancy is renowned, and I am privileged to say we have 100% success rate in getting funding for clients. Now, whether that's bank funding or grants. Now, we work closely with DERA through the Rural Business Development Fund. We work closely with InvestNI, Intertrade Ireland. But again, I tell our clients, you shouldn't build your business depending on grants. Again, and a lot of small business owners don't know this, but to obtain a grant, in order to get that grant, you have to pay out the 100% costs first and do a reclaim back. So again, we handhold our clients through the step-to-step process in securing funding. And again, I would say that's our ethos at BD Consultancy. We work not just Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. We work outside the normal working hours. I work weekends because, again, business owners sometimes can't. They have other things to do during the working day. The other services we have is business-to-business sales development, and Ciara is here with me today. Ciara leads up that department. What does that mean? A lot of SMEs in Northern Ireland are taking new products to market. They don't know where to start. So we would undertake the market research for them. Again, smaller companies may not initially justify a sales resource. So we build the databases, we get on the phone, we get you in front of your potential customers. So that's our sales to sales development. We also have a HR department now, because again, when I was out with clients, a lot of our clients would have been saying, you know, Bridget, I need to recruit staff. Would you sit in on the interviews? Or we have problems with staff. So we now have a fully qualified HR person within our team who deals with all the HR documentations and policies. We also have an accounts and payroll department. So again, a lot of small companies don't understand the finance or payroll. So we offer that service every month where we do payroll for some of our clients. And most recently, we have brought Eilish onto the team, who is a marketing budget. So Eilish is working with some of our clients on developing their social media strategies and marketing strategies. So that's briefly what BD Consultancy do. So to any of the businesses here in the room today, how can you make it happen? So what I would say to you, if you don't get the answers at the door you go to, knock on all the doors, because that's how you'll get the answers. Ask questions, get a mentor involved, network, and that's how you will make contacts within your business. Today, we're giving away a freebie. So if we can collect your email addresses, I'm giving a day of my own time, one-to-one mentoring for a full day to any SMEs. So we will be doing a draw at the end of the day. So one lucky business owner in the room is going to receive that. Thank you.
So to put it into our terms, Bridget is the most relentless woman when it comes to filling out the grant form. So you know the way you've all them forms, you are, but like Jared's like, you answered as Bridget, I didn't do it. And so Bridget was able to secure funding for me and Jared, 2 separate businesses, and I was able to get a new laptop and a new phone for half the price. So a new MacBook and an iPhone, and I was able to claim back half of that money because I was trying to grow my business and needed those new pieces of equipment for people helping me, and because my other one was out of date. I would not have got that grant if she didn't do it, because it's just like too hard, you just can't. And Bridget was like, no, Caroline, you need to get this for me, you need to fill. And she kept going, oh my God, and you got it for me. And I swear to God, anybody in the room that wants to speak to Bridget about anything like that, come and talk to her or sign up for that free that wee freebie. She's unreal.
One of the other things I would say, a lot of the SMEs in Northern Ireland get put off with grant applications. That's our expertise, and we have the processes in-house now to make it easier for yourselves to get funding. Rural development funding is opening again in April. So if you're a rural business located in Northern Ireland, there's funding opening in April for capital spend. So when Caroline was talking about getting her laptops or any piece of a capital equipment, that's opening in April, closing in May. So it is very worthwhile for rural businesses to get 50% of their capital spend, max up to £5,000 of grant money.
Jared got a new welder, absolutely delighted with his life. So all because of Bridget. So thank you so much. That's BD Consultancy if you want to come and see Bridget. And then we've one more business and then we're getting fed. So now I would like to introduce Shan from BTL. Shan, if you would like to tell everyone about your business.
Yes, of course. Hi everyone, my name is Shan and I'm the area manager for BTL Industries, which has just recently come to Northern Ireland, and I'm absolutely delighted to be with you all here today. This is amazing. So I have the brilliant role then of letting these devices roll out across Northern Ireland to different businesses, from aesthetic clinics, great business like Cinch and Hollywood and the Beauty Lounge, loads of lovely businesses across Northern Ireland that may have things like what I have in front of me here, which you may have not seen before. This is the Imcella chair, so it really helps men and women with incontinence and intimate health and things like that. It's a bit different. And then beside me here is the Sculpt. So if you did 20 minutes on that, you're going to achieve about 20,000 crunches. You'll not do that easily at the gym as you would sitting on that. So really exciting products coming out, helping everybody. And very, very good to get on and have a go. So anyone is welcome to come and try today. And then during this year in spring, we will launch M-Face, which will tone the muscles in your face and give you a lift needle-free. So the new alternative to a facelift. So I have a really, really exciting job doing all that, and then working, of course, with such amazing businesses throughout Northern Ireland. But I won't go on too much longer because I'm sure, like everybody else, I'm starving. And so thank you so much for listening to me, and please do come up and try and grab a wee leaflet and find out more.
Brilliant. So I have to say, I wasn't aware of everything that BTL does do, but this is the best place to be. So if you're like in that industry of healthcare and beauty, then you definitely should come and speak to Shan. And like, I think everybody's going to be queuing up for the crunches, so they don't have to go to the gym this week. So thank you for supporting the Dig podcast, Shan. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Dig podcast. It's an absolute privilege to be your host every week and to spend time with the most driven, inspirational people. Don't forget to tag us on social at Dig for Success if you enjoyed this week's conversation. And until next week, keep taking those steps to making it happen in your business and in your life.